Hey, so I want to give you a little bit of history on my usage with Young Living. So I started using Young Living after having a family tragedy. Loss is something that changes everything about your life. And today is a celebration day of the day that my son, it's his birthday. So he would have been 31 today, but his twin is 31 today, and that is a celebration. It's so grateful. But so when I started using Young Living, it was definitely for emotional use. Valor was my very first love, very, very close companion, and will be my close companion today. You know, when we lose things in life, I'm talking about people, when we lose people, the hardest part is losing the person. And when days like this happen, like a birthday, it's a remembering, you know, it's a, gosh, that was a huge gift, having that person in your life for as long as you did. And you celebrate birthdays different, but it's still a celebration and a remembering. But when I started using Young Living, of course, like birthdays, the first 10 years, difficult, really super difficult, but it gets different. But this isn't, I don't want this video to be about that, but it's the story of my beginning and some history of why I even only just use Young Living. So I only use Young Living because that's what met me after my tragedy. That's where I got a lot of support. That's what's walked me through all these 10 years. And initially, it was just using them that hooked me. It was the impactfulness of it, how it helped me, just that, you know, just by applying an oil and putting it on or smelling it, like the power that it had on me to calm things. And that got me, you know, once I got through the shock and the raw tragedy part, it got me researching more and looking, and because I had already been using some other random oils, because oils weren't super popular back then. And these were way different than anything I had ever experienced. So as I researched and looked into it more, there was a reason why it was different. Because if you look at how Young Living farms, what Young Living does, like who is even taking care of these plants, the knowledge that they have about different plant species, the soil that they need, the climate that they need. You can't just grow every single plant anywhere. It doesn't work. It's like there's certain things I can't grow in Michigan, they won't grow here. Or there's other things I can get to grow in my soil, but it's not quality, and I would never use it for, I would never harvest it and use it and make it into an oil, because my stuff is just more for looks, and it is not medicinal at all. It has no medicinal properties that would be worth anything, because my soil is not that good, and there's pesticides around, things like that. But their farming practices are fantastic. Like, I love their farming practices. So the more I looked into it, the more I realized, okay, huge difference. I would never use another oil ever, because the more that I learned about distillation. I learned about how, like, when things are picked and how quick some things need to be distilled, how others need to wait a little bit. It's all about the oil that flows through the plant material. And then there's some things that they harvest and make into essential oils. Well, I mean, it has it in it, but they bottle it. Some of those things, they can't be picked at certain times of the day. Some have to be picked in the morning, some in the late evening, some even in the middle of the night. So you have to know like when the strongest, most potent, purest oil is going to be surging through that plant, and that's when you want to harvest it. So like that all makes a huge difference. I would never ever ever just go and buy a random oil anywhere, because now I know, and I'm so grateful that I know. So I've always said, like, I used to teach a lot of classes, and I always used to say, if Young Living essential oils ever went away, like if the farms ever just went away for some reason, I just wouldn't use oils anymore. I would go back to my homeopathic remedies. That's what I used before, because there's no compromising on the strength and the potency and the whole process that they do, from the seeds that they select and keep all the way through distilling and bottling it and testing it a bajillion times, which I know bajillion's not a word, and then putting the label on. Like it's just all done the way that it needs to be done, because I use these things on myself and on my family, and there's a safety issue for me. So that's also part of my history. Losing my son made me realize as well that every single thing that I put on my skin and in my body, as well as my family on their skin and inside their body, that I'm responsible for giving, I can't compromise. I can't compromise. I can't put a dollar value on it, and I can't compromise on the safety and integrity and potency of it, because I know what it's like to lose someone really super close to you, and that makes you really want to keep everyone around you as safe as possible. Of course, I can't control everything that happens to everyone, but as far as it is in my control, I need that safety value. And it heightened after losing my son. And I just look at things differently. So when you lose someone, your perspective changes on everything. So how I think and how I purchase things and what I do, it all filters through my history. And that's where I come, that's the place that I come from. So Valor's going to stick super close to me today. And I also wanted to just touch real quick on loss. So losing someone, losing a person is the hardest part of loss. But there's also other components of it. So you lose the person, but then you lose your plans. You lose your could have beens, what will be's. You lose your it will never happen again. You just lose the future. You don't lose the past, you lose the future. And it doesn't, for everyone it's different. So for me, like, it was a son, as a child. But it can be a spouse, it can be a parent, it can be a grandparent, it can be a sibling, it can be a friend, it can be anyone that's super close to you. And then loss is going to be different for each person that walks through it. So how I process the loss and the things that I walk through of will never happens again, and lost future things, and loss of just loss, is going to be different for me than my daughter, who processes loss of a sibling and the things that come from that loss and the things that she won't experience with the sibling. So it's everyone's loss is different. So, but it's still loss. And the thing that I want you to realize is you lose a person, but you also lose a piece of you. And so the piece of me that got lost is going to be different than the piece of, losing the grandchild, losing a grandparent or vice versa, or a sibling losing a sibling. We all lose pieces of ourselves, but it's a different piece of ourselves because our relationship with them is different. We all have unique relationships with each other. I hope that makes sense. So, like, what I use for emotional support might not be the same as what someone else is going to use for emotional support oil-wise. But I guarantee you, like, 100% lay my life on it. There is an oil that will help you. There's 20 that will help you. There's 50 that will help you. Because that's how I get through things. Of course, also with prayer and God's word. But you just have to find the oils that work for you. And the oils that I used at the beginning of my grief journey are not at all the same as what I use now. I do go back for some of the oldies, and I've never let go of Valor, only when you couldn't get it. But there's ones that I use more now that I didn't use at the beginning, and vice versa. You know, you find what works for you in the season that you're in, because there's always going to be triggers. Like today, there's going to be a trigger. You know, I used to dread the night before getting up, knowing that I would get up and it would be a birthday. I dreaded September 10th. I didn't want September 11th to happen. But like that part, I don't dread those at night anymore. You know, that part did, it lessened. I don't have that. And I also had it the day after. Like, I would dread the day before and I would dread the day after. But I don't have that anymore. Whether it's Mother's Day, accident date, birthday, things like that. Like, I don't experience that anymore. I'm grateful, but it was very real. So I know you out there who are experiencing the day before and day after. It's tough. It's hard. And I get it. And I'm sorry. But celebrate the things that you can celebrate when you're able to celebrate them. Because honestly, even though like I'm full of tears right now, I am celebrating my other son. It's his birthday today, and it's a really great thing. So put your emotion oils on. Don't compromise on what you use. If you don't know a lot about essential oils, ask me. I'd be glad to talk to you on the side and share some with you so that you can experience what I experienced. And it takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of drops, but it does. It gets you there, and it does work. It really does. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I am going to work at the new house outside and go to battle once again with those flower beds. So tip for you, do not plant bushes too close to the side of your house, especially bushes that spread, because the roots, my grandma used to teach me this. No, I guess everybody didn't have a grandma like that. But the roots, especially if they're thick and heavy and they spread out, they're going to go into your siding. They're going to go down by your foundation. It's going to be a nightmare. Like, your house needs to breathe. So don't put bushes that close to your house that have massive root systems. It's just not a good idea. Bushes belong further away, and or in the yard would be great. So I'm going to go tackle some more roots and get them away from the house so the house can breathe. All right, I will talk to you soon. I will see you.